Hi guys, how are we doing? Yeah, sorry, I just literally got straight back. Uh, okay, right, who have we got in today? Afternoon, mate. Not seen you or spoke to you in a long time. So we have obviously non-farm payroll at 1:30. So expect a bit of movement in the next 5-10 minutes to position where the markets I expect will start to position themselves leading up into the data release. Now, if we go to the higher time frame, this market has come back right into the zone that we were watching for it to break. So I think the way that I would like to try and trade today's NFP is I'm not going to take anything just on the hope that the market's going to move in my favor and looking for a setup. I want the market to make its move, right? So ideally, I think I'm going to sit out of the longs. Even though the short term move has been to the upside, I think we might have overcooked that for now until we get a close above 32.72 now. So I want to see the market get above there. So my ideal scenario is we see the market push and spike up, and then I look to sell the lows. Now, the only downside with the lows is I'm not seeing much clear traffic until here. So 32.51. I need to see the market drop below that area. The only other way we could do it is if we get a false break of 32.72. So look for the market to close above, it spikes up again, and then we sell the lows in this area. Other than that, gold is looking a bit choppy on the lower time frames. Higher time frame, it looks all right. You see how the market could potentially come into this like area here. This is what we were watching, but we didn't sell here. We were waiting for these wicks to get broken. And then when they got broken, you saw what happened. It was just like a avalanche. So something similar could happen to the upside, but I think the ideal scenario is price rotates into this area. We see sellers come in, and then we look for BPC trade short. That'd be my ideal scenario. Having a look at the DAX, right, you can see what we looked for this morning, buys above 22,821. We're 80 points above that price point now. Let's clear these off. Um, let's have a look at the 4 hour. Now, to be fair, we had resistance formed here. It's wicked down, then broken the high. So anyone that, in theory, you've bought the high of this bearish uprange candle. You've hit T1, no doubt. T1, I don't know how many points it's moved above that, but that's kind of screwed it now until we get. Oh, no, it wouldn't have hit T1, I don't think. You'd have just missed. And then stopped at break even. So yeah, now that it's just getting too clustered, we need a move. We need a move to look for opportunities. So uh, next daily big move, resistance levels 23,145. So there's definitely scope for more upside, but my preference would lie in looking for a rotation lower and then BPC's long. So where could we look at? Not sure we're going to see a move as low as that. Okay, we need to see some solid move lower, basically, guys. A solid move lower would present opportunity If we get a, let me draw it. So in theory, sorry guys, bear with me 1 second. There we go. Right. Um, I'm just seeing if I can draw it with. So let me just get rid of the extend. So in theory, what you want to see is you want to see a couple of candles that are nice. Why is that not happening? Doesn't want to do it for me today. Let's just do it this way. So you want to see a couple of candles like this, so where you get nice big bodies. And the purpose of the bodies is where you get nice big bodies, and you're not looking at like little bodies like this and big wicks. What this is going to do, it's going to give you clear traffic to trade back to the upside. And then in theory, what we'll want to see is, oh, what is that? Then we want to see maybe something like this where we get buyers back into the market, and we then look to buy above the highs and trade into this free space and trade back up, and we'll take some position off by the time it gets back to 22,900. So that's what we need to see. We need to see the market create some clear traffic to the downside for us then to be able to buy it back. Right now, we're not seeing that. It's all very congested, small bodies, the movement to the upside. Now, you could say it's Friday, you could say all sorts of, try and give yourself all sorts of rational reasons why it's like this. I won't bother. Just wait till you see some clarity. When you see clarity, guess what? That's when you get your best trades. So we did some research. Can you hear me now? Oh, damn it, guys. Sorry, having a Friday day, rushing, getting back. So let's go back to what I was saying. I'll reiterate what I was talking about. Um, I guess maybe it's better sometimes working with one screen. You don't get confused which one you're sharing. So just looking at, let me just bring back the what I'd drawn in. Forgive the colors. Yellow candles being bearish in this instance. I want to see price rotate lower with some nice big solid bodies as opposed to these little bodies with wicks everywhere. You want to see something like that and then see buyers step in. When buyers step in, we can look for a wick down and buy the break of the high and trade it back up into resistance. Until we get that, I don't really want to do anything with the DAX right now. So I need to see some rotation lower for it to be bought back up. Sells 22,800. You got 55 points below here to that range, but then you're going against a massively strong trend at the minute if you just look at what's happening on the daily chart. So in order for me to be looking and considering a sell, I'd either want to see price coming into a nice structural point and then a change in structure. So change in structure would just mean we want to see, instead of the market printing these higher highs, I'd want to see one of these lows get broken. So a market does something like this. And as it moves down, we want this area to be like a nice big candle bodies. And then we can trade off the back of that once it rotates higher. So right now we're a little bit stuck on what we can do. We're probably going to see the market a little bit on the sidelines on the basis that it is NFP today. NASDAQ, you can see after yesterday's Huge spike up, strong sell off towards the end of the day, then stop near the lows. And today we've spiked higher so far. Um, for sells, I'd want to see the lows get broken on today, basically looking at the daily chart. We do have micro ranges being formed. Let's have a look on the hourly. Looking at the hourly, I wouldn't go for longs unless we get a close above 19,963 now. That's where I would look for my breakout. So we're going to put potential buys above 19,964. So that's what we'd look for. Because look, if we're looking for a breakout here, we're going to run straight into this traffic. If we look for a breakout here, we're running into this wick and then the next set of traffic. So sells, we can. I'm going to look at the distance below, but sells below 19,764. So in theory, we can look for sells below here, 19,764. Yeah, it's nearly 100 pip range, so that's fine. 100 pip range. What do we have today? We've got NFP, isn't it? So let's just drop that on the charts. 130. Major news. USD 1330. I just put NFP. We know there's average hourly earnings and uh, employment data, so we know all that's coming out at the same time. But I'll just keep it nice and short so we know that we don't want to be placing any trades just before or just after. We want the news to come out. After the news has come out, the market's going to react. We'll let the dust settle, and then we'll make a decision on how we want to trade. So whether we're going to look for a spike up and then trade it back down on a false break above from 19,964, or if we're going to look for like a false break of the 19670 area, or will we trade breakouts from above this area or below this area? It's all going to be dependent on what happens with the data and how the market plays out after the data's been released. So let's see. Uh, Gold, yeah, I'd look at sells underneath 13251 for sure. Don't think. I mean, you could 262. No, there was actually a little potential sell here. 62. Yeah, you'd have hit T1 on that, to be fair. But I would wait. I would wait for a structural change. Um, I got the level, but we are in that zone that I told you about when you look at the daily, where all these wicks are. So prices come back to test those wicks. So what we want to establish is this going to be an area where we see the weekly continue its move lower and the weekly correction? Or is this going to be the start of where the daily comes back into its impulsive move and we start seeing gold pushing back further higher? Or is the bull run done on gold for now and we're just going to have a bit of a correction? Time will tell, and that's why we need rules to implement to take emotions and thinking out of the process. The more we think, the more damage we're likely to do to an account. Uh, there's nothing to think about if you have an if done scenario. If we say, right, if this high gets broken and we close above, the next candle wicks down, and then we break the high, we place the trade. We don't think about it. It's rules, it's black and white. Okay? And that's what our data, that's what our testing, that's what our results prove. That if we trade breakouts based on these rules, if we trade BPCs based on these rules, if we trade false breaks based on these rules, we know that over a period of time we're going to be profitable. So it takes emotions, it takes the dopamine kicks and the oh, what if this happens scenario? Oh, I can't miss out on this one. Takes all of that out of the equation. Now, yeah, it takes time, but it's not going to happen overnight. But this is where you as traders develop, and this is where we start seeing the members. We're seeing some outstanding results in the members community. Um, we're seeing accounts getting passed, payouts week in, week out at the minute. So all I can say is well done to the team. And while we're waiting for the markets to Hey Ryan, how are you, mate? Welcome. Yeah, sorry, I've just got back from the gym, so a little bit of a run, hence I'm like this. So Ryan, welcome to the channel. It is going to be a bit of a quiet one today, I suspect, with it being non-farm payroll. We're just waiting to see what happens now. We've mapped out a couple of things. So on gold, if we just go up to the higher time frame, we are in what I'd say a weekly correction. So bias is to the short side. It doesn't mean I won't trade long. Hey Anna, how you doing, darling? And we're looking for rotations now. So as we look at this, you can see the daily is in a corrective move now. If you look at it, because the daily we're coming down, impulsive move lower. Now we're pulling back on the daily. On the daily is a correction. If you look at the hourly, you're going to see an uptrend. All right. So we can see the market is moving higher, pulled up. Now it's a little bit messy. The candles are very congested, so I don't want to trade in this area. I don't mind if price pulls up into 32.74, spikes higher, and after non-farm payroll starts to drop, we can look to sell it. But that's only if we get a big spike up, then I'll look to sell it. I'll look for sells underneath, sells below 32.51.2. Now, the thing about NFP, you'll see some traders out there, they'll put a long buy stop above here and a sell stop below here and hope that the market just triggers them in and they'll go long or short depending on what happens on the data. The downside to that is, guys, look, spreads are going to fly open. You're probably going to get gapped. Then it's going to reverse. You might even get double tapped, meaning you get triggered in on this side, you get triggered in on this side. And then as a new trader, that's a position you really do not want to be in because there is no way of winning out of that one. You might as well just pull the trigger and close both trades down. So literally, guys, we're going to wait till 1:30. We'll see what happens, and then we'll make a decision from that point of view. But gold shorts to go back in the direction of the weekly correction is what I'd be looking for ultimately. So below 32.51. If we break above 32.74 and stay above it, well, then that's a different kettle of fish. We might look at a 5-minute chart for pullback and then buy a break of the highs. But I can't. It's not something Afternoon, Simon. How are you, mate? But like I said, it's all going to be data dependent, and I don't give a damn what the data is. I just care what the candles do, and we'll make our decision once we see that. The DAX, you could say it's overcooked, but look, these indexes will keep going and going and going. Yeah, I'm good, mate. After our session at 5:30 this morning, I feel like I've been awake for ages. So, so yeah, we've got 12 minutes to kill. Anyone looking at anything while we're waiting? NASDAQ, I'm going to look for shorts below 19,764. This will be like breakout trade. So effectively waiting for a candle to close below, wick up, we'll sell the low. I'd want to close at least 80% of my position. So close 80%. Oh. So close 80% of the trade. At this price point, we know we've got 100 pips to work with. So as long as it doesn't just literally eat up the whole range on an impulsive move, then we've got a potential trade. Long trades, I'm not looking at anything until we get a close above 19975. So what's everyone got planned for the long weekend, guys? Any plans? No doubt it'll involve a few beers somewhere, a bit of sunshine, kids. I- If you if you're not there, uh, Simon, what's with all the questions? Come on, dude. Long, long and bank holiday. Surely you know it's a bank holiday. Or is this since you've got into part-time work and full-time trader, you've completely lost the plot of days? Look, my God, you didn't know it was a bank holiday. Wicked. Yeah, so there'll be no evening webinar on Monday, members. So there'll be no evening webinar on Monday. Nolan's got the night off. I've just saved you getting up for work on Monday now, mate. Uh, Pleasure, mate. Pleasure, mate. Help with the trading, help with your daily calendar at work, help with bank holidays, anything else? Cleaning's off the agenda. Okay. The DAX. Right. Realistically, on the DAX, sells for me would be underneath here, which is around 300 points away based on the hourly. We could maybe squeeze something here actually, 22,739. But here we've got clear traffic, to be fair. Let me see what. Yeah, okay, that would work. 850. You got 47. Okay, so if I right, so listen, if I was going to take a sell underneath 22,800, so I'm going to put potential sells here, right, guys? It doesn't mean so. I'm going to tell you what I'd need. Sells below 22,800. So if I'm looking for sells underneath 22,800, first thing we need is a close below, and that would also mean that if you're looking at this sort of structure that the market's moving, if it just comes straight down, then you've got a change in structure because we've broken through this swing low here. If it does something like this, we've already had a change in structure. So both work. It doesn't matter if it comes straight down or if it produces a lower high. But rather than just sort of like looking for shorts if it closes below, I'd want it to take the low of any order would be below this wick here. And the rationale behind that is you see this candle here, the middle one, where we've had a nice big impulsive move here with the top wick. The next candle's opened. Now I don't know if it's gone up first, down, and then back up again, or if it's gone down first, then up and closed back here. What we do know is this candle, this 15-minute candle's traded within a range, and that's where this wick is here. So we've seen it stall twice. So on a lower time frame, if I was to drop to, I don't know, 5-minute chart, you're going to see, or maybe even have to go lower, you're going to see some structure in and around this area. So if I just put this in here and just change it to, I don't know, let's change it to orange so you can see. Let's go to the 5. There we go. There we go. Look at that. We can see support level. Why has that happened? Because of this here. So I'd need price to break that to take an order. We've got 6 minutes left, guys. 6 minutes left before we're going to do anything. Now, uh, should be a life coach. My God, if I was a life coach, mate, I tell you, the shit would hit the fan. My missus is my life coach. She's forever, I say nagging, she says reminding. Problem is, if she didn't remind, I'd forget. I set alerts, I set all sorts. But yeah, it is what it is. We memory cells aren't quite what they were. So 5 minutes for the countdown. Let's see what's going to happen. Who else have we got in here today? We've got anyone from Jamaica again? We've got Sid. No doubt Sid will be popping his head in about 2 or 3 minutes, unless he's down at... Yeah, that's my argument as well, Simon. I say she's never told me, but unfortunately, her memory is just jokes. She'll remember something I said in 2016 on Wednesday at 11 a.m. and she'll recite it perfectly to the word. I'm like, don't remember what I said yesterday. So there's just no point arguing. Right. Uh, right. Time's ticking. So what are we gonna reckon, guys? Makes no odds. Remember, I don't care what the news is like. I don't give a damn if it's positive news, negative news. Makes absolute zero difference to the way that I'm going to trade. All I want to do is see the price action that I'm looking for. Um, right now, we're in this zone where anything can happen in this area. And it's going to be news dependent, right? Anything can happen. If the news is positive for gold, we could just bust straight through it. If it's negative, then what we could see is basically, I mean, this 4 hour candle is going to close at 2 o'clock. Um, the 4 hour chart, I wouldn't trade it because 4 hour charts, and for those of you that are new here, will know that 4 hour charts will vary from broker to broker because the 4 hour chart is dependent on whether, well, it's not dependent. The 4 hour candles that it picks, the 4 1 hour candles that it picks for the 4 hour candle to form will be obviously the 4, 8, 12 candles. Now, if your server is in a different time zone, let's say you've got one in the UK and one in Europe, because it's 1 hour difference, you're going to pick a different 4 1 hour candles, which is why you'll see different 4 hour candles from broker to broker. It all depends where their server is based. And that's why I wouldn't trade according to a 4 hour candle because price action is going to vary from traders to trader. But as you know, the 1 hour doesn't matter whether it's 8 o'clock here or 9 o'clock in Europe because it's still going to be an hourly candle. That candle will look the same, just the time will be slightly different when you look at the timing on the MT4, MT5. 1 minute, 30 seconds, guys. Let's see what happens. Does anyone in here trade NFP? Do you trade it pre the news? Bit of a gamble? Or is everyone the disciplined trader in here? Or just pretend to be while they're on stream? Right. 50 seconds, guys. Okay, 20 seconds. So after the news, we'll give it about 5 minutes, and we'll look between the NASDAQ and gold for potentials. Here we go. All right, so initial was a drop on gold and a spike on NASDAQ. Okay, gold's pulling back. Okay, let's have a look. So average hourly earnings were down again. So what does that mean? Average hourly earnings. If the average hourly earnings are decreasing, that means that the jobs are being created of lower pay. Non-farm employment change, 177K. So more jobs are being created. So it was forecast 138K. So basically another 40K. So positive news for the dollar. Hence, we're seeing gold dropping, but unemployment rate has remained the same at 4.2%. We'll just have to see how this pans out. I'm not with average hourly earnings. I think we might potentially see a little bit of a change in what's going on with the Nasdaq. We'll see. Good. Let's see. So data employment, I mean, it's not massively high. The previous month was 185K. So if we look at it as, yeah, it's better than forecast. But if I look at historical, Christ, it's tiny. I can't read the numbers, too small. Okay, we'll see. I'm not sure we'll see the Nasdaq stay up here, to be fair. Unless they look at it as this is why I don't care about fundamentals, because when you look at fundamentals, sometimes you can see good news and the markets rally. Sometimes you see good news and the markets drop. Sometimes you see bad news, the markets rally. Sometimes you see bad news, the markets drop. So you're better off just reading price action as a day trader, unless you've got a serious understanding of not just the data, but how institutions are positioned. I think on this basis, I'd kind of be more inclined to be looking for sells on on the Nasdaq, unless we get a close above here, of course. I think if I don't see it as mega good news, unless that's what the markets want. They don't want to see good news, meaning the Fed's more likely to cut rates. So there's so many sort of like spin points you can put on the data, which is let's just see what the damn charts do, as opposed to trying to guesstimate how the market perceives the information. So let's wait for this 15-minute candle to close on gold. So at quarter two, if we see that this market has failed to close below this level, and then the next 15-minute candle prints a bullish 15-minute candle, then we get a wick down, I'll be a buyer of gold. But unfortunately, that means we've got to wait around till 2 o'clock. The joys of day trading, right, guys? You got to wait for your setup. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. One second, guys. Well, the DAX has made a move higher. This is the members will be familiar with this setup. An uprange bearish candle by the highs. Now, I'm not going to trade it on a daily chart, but you'll see when you see strong trends, it's usually a nice little signal. So let's see if I can find you another example. Would you have made your 20 pips here? Yeah, you'd have got your 80 pips. Uprange, bearish candle, strong uptrend. Take it. Nothing else. The rest would be BPCs there. No. Okay, if gold takes out, we could have a trade here on the 15-minute. We've got to wait 9 minutes. It's got to close below, guys. It's got to close below. Another one, when we do get these big moves, what it does is it clears the way for potential trades. So for example, if we get a close above here, this is where my system's interlinked. So if we get a close above here, we wick down, but then don't break the highs, we don't get triggered into our breakout trade. So if it comes back down and closes below the level, this is how we get aligned up now for our false break trade. So they all align with each other. And this is the beauty by waiting for the wick down before buying or waiting for the wick up before selling. It stops you getting caught in trades. Not all the time, obviously it can wick down, break the high, you get triggered in, you don't get to break even, and you take a losing trade. But it rules out quite a lot of trades where you would have got triggered in and then stopped out. Anyone in anything? Anyone taken anything? Anyone had a gamble through the news? Unfortunately, it's not something you'll see here, but how's everyone's week been? Has it been a good week, steady week, crap week? What have you had? So what we're seeing right now, gold up 0.5% on the day, the DAX 1.4, the NASDAQ 1.3. So we are seeing some moves, but I do feel that these moves on the indexes, unless we get some solid movement above here, might be short-lived. But you'll know, you know the trades that we're looking for. Close above, wick down, we take the highs. Close above, fails to wick down and break the highs, then we'll be looking for false breaks back down below 19,975. So options are available. We're not just leaning to one side of the market. Well, gold shorts aren't materializing. You're all quiet today. Maybe you're all sat outside in a beer garden. Okay, here we go. This really is talking to radio today. The feedback is pretty quiet. Either that or you're all trading very quietly. Silent assassin out there just hitting the buy and sell buttons and trying to kill it while these initial moves have happened after NFP. Watching whilst working. Mate, you got enough pips yesterday, Peter. What was it, 180 yesterday on gold? Yeah, nothing for me either as well, Simon. Um, I did have a trade on the DAX, 150. Lovely jubbly. Yeah, you got your week with that one. Um, I traded this move here earlier. Got got my T1. It did move 30 points. I was tempted to look at this one again on the break of this high, but I stayed out of it. All right, here we go. 3 minutes. Can we get a close above in 3 minutes? Okay. Doesn't look like it. We've got 2 minutes left, so this is going to get stuck in the no trade range. That is a pretty non-existent NFP. If you look at that, the 15-minute, look at it. It's exactly where it opened on the news is where it is right now. It dropped what? 58. It dropped $7. It rallied $5, and it's back where it started. Kind of tells you what the data did. Not a lot. Maybe we have to wait for the 2:30 open on NYSE. Okay, so what am I favoring? think so. I would trade gold long or short on the breakouts. I wouldn't look to trade a false break on gold, that's for sure. I don't like this range here. So I would trade the breakout long, I would trade the breakout short below that. I'm not going to trade in this area. The NASDAQ, happy to try trade the breakout above 19975. I would also look, if the market closed back below 19975, look to trade the false break because we've got a lovely clear candle space here. So that's obviously if we see the market break above on this next 15 minutes. It has to do it realistically on this candle because I'm not sticking around till late this afternoon. I tell you that for sure. Uh, if I don't get a setup by 2:15, 2:30, I'm gonna close the screens and wrap up for the week, guys. There's uh, there's literally no point sitting here if we're not getting what we want to see. The longer you sit in front of the screen, the more you'll find something to trade, and then the bigger screw up you're likely to make. So have your hours, have your time that you sit in front of the screen, have the time that you're going to place the trades, and be clear on your rules. If you're not clear on any of those, then you really, really do need to be getting in touch and jumping in the membership. We've got a fantastic membership offer on right now for new members. Half price for the first 6 months, or if you want to trade a funded account, then open a instant funded account with instant FX Capital. You can get a free membership for 30 or 90 days, depending which account you open. So if you want to open an instant funded account, like I say, we've just started working in partnership with Instant FX Capital. We're doing a promo at the minute for the next end of next week. Open up an account. You know, open up an account. You'll get free membership for 30 or 90 days. All you need to do is click on the link that I posted in the chat. Open up an account. Get trading and you'll get access to trading full membership for 30 or 90 days. The 90 days one is for anyone that starts with a instant under 10k account. Right, we're getting close. If you're looking for the half price for the first 6 months, you have to message me directly. That's market trade and train.com. Well, DAX was the one, guys. Look at that. It's off. Let me just see if there's... All of this was just getting too clustered. What am I looking for? Now, if anyone is kind of, I don't know what's the best way of describing it. If you're looking, you're not sure what you want to do, you're looking for some ideas, or you just want to have a chat about getting started, then what you can do is you can book in for a call with me or one of the team. And you can do that by clicking this link. And I don't think there's any availability left today. Oh, there you go. So just click on that, fill in your details, book a time slot. Um, One of us will have a chat with you, tell you what's going on. Ooh. Right, Nasdaq's at the level. I'm just trying to see if there's anything. Not really saying a lot. Can't see anything. Microsoft earnings breakout. So Microsoft has now passed. Let's have a look. Pre Bloody hell. That was a gap on the old earnings, wasn't it? $39 gap up. Pre-market sitting at 429. Will we see the gap get closed, or are we going to see a continuation higher? Now, one of my friends works at Citibank, and the moves that we're seeing right now, there's a lot of cash on the sidelines. A lot of people are just sat in cash as opposed to fully invested. So if we do start seeing markets moving, it's the cash on the sideline that's probably just going, right, sod this. We don't want to miss out on these moves. So if we do see one of these ballistic moves in the stock market again, you know why. There is a lot of cash on the sidelines. All right, let's get back to the charts that I want to trade. Okay. 9 minutes. 9 minutes, and we'll see what happens. Will we have a breakout? Will we look for a potential false break? All going to be dependent. Well, I've got a feeling, guys, I'm not going to be placing a trade. Got a feeling. We'll see, but I think I'll be done for the week, to be fair. I wouldn't want to keep you all sat here watching, and I don't know, just be sat here for, for the sake of sitting here. It's been a bit of a non-event, really. Would you trade DAX in H1 long breakout? Let's have a look. What you mean from this area, Anna? Is that what you're looking at? You put in that level and you've seen it break above? Yeah, no, I wouldn't be looking at any long breakouts here, to be fair, darling. I would, if you wanted to trade anything, I would wait for a rotation lower and then trade BPC long. Um, so what's that moved? Uh, you know what? Even the NASDAQ, if I was to trade this now, just because it's gone 150 points in a straight line from the news, the only trade I would consider right now would be a false break. I don't like it when things just move so much in a one directional move. So if this one pops up, next one closes below, we get a wick up, then we can look to sell. Um, uh, in all honesty, guys, I think I would rather wait for next week now. My preference would be rather wait for next week. Nasdaq false break, I would look at, and gold shorts. There'd be if I was to think of two things now that would have a potential trade that I would look at, would be those two trades. So if you're looking at Nasdaq, I'd need to see a close above, then I'd want to see a close below, wick up, sell the low. So this candle to close above the level, next candle to close below the level, next candle to wick up, and then sell the low of the candle that closed bearish below the level. That's what I'd do. I'm not going to trade any longs where we currently sit. Just we're up 300 points on the day, 1.5%. It's just done what, 180 points in a straight line, 170. Doesn't really fill me with confidence to be looking at that. I wouldn't mind if you were, I don't know, let's say the structure point was here and it had moved, say, 70 or 80 points and we could have got opportunity, then maybe that's something to worth looking at. But I just think it's a little bit too far gone. Here we go. Maybe we get an opportunity. 3 minutes. Hold on, guys. Okay. Okay, we need a wick up, guys. It's going to go with that. Okay. No. If we get a wick up. Okay. Waited all this time for you. And this is what you're going to do. Ha! And that would have been. Yeah. Unfortunately, guys, it's gone without us. It's gone without us. NASDAQ, if you really want to get in at this late, you could be doing it, but it's not for me. So gold was the one I would have looked for had we had a little bit more of a push higher, but we didn't. It's gone on. If you did take it, you've hit your T1, T2, maybe T3. I mean, the problem with that is it was literally just as the candle opened, and I would want more based on what this candle set up around. This has been all this move has been set up around non-farm payroll. 4 hour looks lovely as well. So unfortunately, it is what it is. This is how trading unfolds. You know, we kind of got the setup we wanted. We just didn't get the wick up. Just didn't get the wick up. I think if anything now, I'd wait for a bearish. If there's one trade I'd wait for, it'd be a bearish close on the Nasdaq, wick up, and then sell the Nasdaq. That's if you're gonna wait for anything, guys. That's what I'd be waiting for. I think gold, gold sells I like because it goes in line with the weekly correction. But now we just wait for a rotation higher and do BPC trade. Ah, look at that. Lovely. You can't hear me. Uh, it was just you. You mean you muted me on purpose? You muted me. I don't blame you. My missus always wants to mute me. So look, analysis was spot on. It did everything we wanted apart from the wick up. And we were trading in line with the higher time frame trend. It would have been a nice 50-point trade so far. So on that note, it's gone without us, guys. I'm going to say, c'est la vie. I'll come back Monday. We'll take some more pips from the market next week. The one trade I do think, if you are going to stay and watch the markets right now, would be NASDAQ shorts. So if you want me to just run over exactly what I meant. So NASDAQ shorts, you're going to wait for a candle close like this one here. Bearish candle close underneath, can't read the number, 19,933. And then we're going to wait for a wick up and sell the lows. Monday, I might do the US session because the US, remember, it's not bank holiday. So potential. Mr. Tanzania's here. Good afternoon, Global. How are you? We're just wrapping up now. We were looking for sells on gold. Unfortunately, it didn't give us the exact setup we were looking for. We got the close below. We just wanted to wick up here. Um, wasn't really enough for me. Yeah, so like I said, depending what's going on Monday, um, if I am being dragged somewhere, then I won't. But realistically, Monday, US is going to be in play. So if I'm around, I will do a session. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. Anyone that's in the UK, enjoy your bank holiday. Um, Everyone everywhere else, I'll see you next week. There'll be no Monday live stream for 7 a.m. because it is bank holiday here. Potential for something on the US session, um, but let's aim for Tuesday. Okay. Thanks, guys. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all next week. Bye, 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 bye.